I really like the name Cletus. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Earbuddies. I am Ian Meyer, joined per usual by the purveyor of jugs himself. Scott the Gooch Kraus is here with me, joining me per usual. Scott, how are you?
What's up, man? Wamp.
How's it been going? You doing okay?
It's going well. Doing well, yeah.
Doing all right?
How you been?
I've been okay, at best. I've been incredibly neutral, the most neutralist.
Have you done anything the last couple weeks?
No, I don't think I have. I did go to a friend's graduation party, but no one's going to care about that outside of, not even in this room.
No, I think our international listeners would really be interested in hearing about that.
Yeah, it was 100 degrees. There was a pool. I did not go in the pool. I did put my legs in, though. That's exciting, right?
No.
All right. This story sucks. Scott, what have you been up to? Anything exciting?
Not really. I saw a show the other night.
Is that the show of the shirt you're wearing?
Yeah.
I noticed that shirt. Tell me about this shirt. It's yellow. It's of the band Flipper.
Uh-huh. Why don't you just describe
correct?
it? Yeah.
All right. Well, it's yellow. It's of the band Flipper, and it's got what looks to be a, what is that, a dead dolphin supposed to be? With an X.
Like
X for the eyes.
It's like a basic fish. That's
maybe
their logo.
Maybe a shark. All right, a basic fish. Dead fish.
Yeah, it's they're doing a 40th anniversary tour. Flipper are a legendary San Francisco punk band. They're kind of considered like the progenitors of like they slowed it down a lot. It's like the Melvins cite them as an influence, and like
that's cool.
This shirt I'm wearing is like, I think they took Kurt Cobain's bootleg shirt he drew of them on Nirvana's first television appearance.
Awesome.
And they turned it into like official Flipper merch.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, Kurt Cobain was a big fan famously, and
that's awesome.
This tour they had David Yao as the singer. He's in Jesus Lizard. He's like which I'm
Tell me
full
about
disclosure.
Jesus Lizard.
Yeah, full disclosure. I was going for him. I'm not like, I like Flipper, enough, but David Yao is someone I've always wanted to see live.
Okay.
Jesus Lizard is like a incredible noise punk band.
Awesome.
There's a really awesome video on YouTube that people should look up if they're interested, where he dives. They start a song and he's like this. You know how Iggy Pop performs with his shirt off and he's just like wild and stuff.
He's kind of got
now. Yeah, he's kind of got like a similar style where he's just like going crazy, and he jumps off and stage dives and he gets back on stage and this beer bottle just breaks on his face. Like someone throws a beer bottle and it breaks on his face and he stumbles like out. He's like knocked out.
Jesus.
And they stop the song, and then like 5 minutes later, the whole thing is on YouTube. But like 5 minutes later, he gets back up and performs the song. And it's like,
does he finish the show?
Yeah, he finishes the show.
Damn.
But he's like all he gets on stage and you can see this beer bottle just like break on his face, and he just stumbles to the ground. Like it's like he just gets out. He's like knocked out.
Damn. That's insane.
But yeah, this guy, he's getting older, but it's just so fun to watch him. Like he was
do you know what the video's called?
They're performing Seasick. It's Jesus Lizard Seasick live.
Like hit by a bottle?
Yeah, if you search beer bottle break, or I don't know, something like that.
Beer bottle -KO.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
You could probably find it, but yeah, he's I think the original singer for Flipper passed away, so they have him doing the vocals. He was just out in the crowd, and during the second song, he was taking coins out of his pants pocket and just like sticking them on the people's faces in the front row. He's just a
strange,
mischievous man. Yeah. But yeah, it was a cool show.
That's awesome. Cool.
I don't know Flipper's catalog that well, so I'm not going to pretend to be like a super fan here.
Yeah,
but,
right on.
Yeah,
I'm glad you mentioned the Melvins because you reminded me of something. Two things I want to say. Thing number one, I admire you because you're one of the only people I've met who can pull off just a bright yellow T-shirt without it looking goofy at all.
Well, thank you.
It's awesome. I admire you for that. I don't think I can do that.
That means a lot. I bought this shirt and I wasn't sure if I could pull it off. It's a bold shirt. It's like it's a creamy yellow.
Our guest has given you thumbs up. He likes it as well.
Why don't we introduce our guest? I feel like we're...
All right, and then I'll get to point number 2 because he might like this as well. Today, joining us in Earbuddies Studios, Ryan McClain.
Hello.
What's going on, Ryan?
How
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Doing all right?
I'm here
Kicking it?
and I'm talking.
Drink some Truly with us?
I did earlier.
Everybody try Truly. It's delicious. We're not sponsored by them, but
It's
we
very
could
refreshing.
Be. It is.
Yeah.
It's truly refreshing.
Any representatives from Truly?
I hate
You can
myself.
find us anywhere on Earbuddiespod, any social media. We're open to, I don't know, just send us a case and we'll talk about you every episode.
yeah, we will. Yeah, DM us. You can reach us at earbuddiespod@gmail.com and Earbuddiespod on all other platforms, right?
To my knowledge.
Cool. Reach out.
How you do advertising?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott, point number 2, you mentioned the Melvins, and I think they're opening up for the Raconteurs in San Francisco, which I got tickets to.
You got the tickets for that?
Yeah, I got tickets. Me and Peter, man, friend of the podcast, Peter. We're going to go see them on July 24th at Fox Theater.
Yeah, I saw... Go ahead.
I have a coworker that's going to that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and, I'm excited. We'll see.
I saw the Melvins were opening, and it almost tipped me. It almost tipped me, but those tickets were too expensive.
You could have gotten a free album of the album that you were incredibly lukewarm on.
Yeah.
Borderline disappointed with.
Oh, man. Now that you say it like that, I made a mistake.
Yeah, each ticket comes with a free record. Vinyl or CD.
Oh, vinyl too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I think I'm going to go vinyl because I'm a CD guy, but I don't know if I'm going to drive around listening to that one as much because I'm also neutral on
Do you
it.
have a lot of vinyls or?
No, my whole vinyl collection is on that shelf right there behind you.
Okay.
Wait, so
And I don't have a record player. I, gave it to my dad, so.
So you buy tickets and they give you the choice, vinyl or CD at the door, or what?
I think that a couple days before the show, they're going to send me some sort of redeemable voucher or something.
See, the thing is, I actually bought the tickets for my coworker because he wasn't able to. And it said that it is supposed to send you the voucher for it, or in an email, 1 week before or after you get the tickets.
Oh, okay.
I haven't
Okay.
gotten an email for any of that. So
really?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to contact them right now to understand.
Oh, shoot.
Why.
Okay.
And then where do you redeem it? You redeem it at the show?
I don't
they're not
know.
gonna figure it
Maybe you just check a box and maybe they just have them ready for you at the show or something.
It just seems like, even if you don't have a record player, it just seems like a no-brainer. Just get the vinyl.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially since
it's
I know
way
I'm
more expensive. It's a better value.
Yeah, I know I'm not going to listen to it a whole lot, I don't think, but the vinyls are just cool, man.
Yeah, they're cooler. I mean, just put it on your wall, whatever. No one plays CDs anymore anyway, so.
I play CDs. You play CDs.
Yeah, but we're no one.
Ryan, do you play CDs? Do you use CDs?
Not much. I go for vinyls,
Oh
but
my
I don't have a
God.
lot.
At least you... Okay, all right. Hey, you go for vinyls. You're cool, dude.
They look cool.
Good, yeah, they do look cool.
They look super cool.
We can all agree vinyls look cool.
You can flip them around and stuff. When I worked at the radio station, I worked at a college radio station, and when I was doing my orientation, the guy was just like, all CDs are going to oxidize within 30 years, and the Library of Congress has nothing but vinyl because it's a longer lasting medium. So we're on the right side of time. I have a massive CD collection that's going to be completely obsolete.
Was he hugging some trees when he was telling you these weird CD facts?
Yeah, he also said his favorite album of the year before, which I guess was 2013 or something like that, was Grimes, and his favorite album of all time was Smashing Pumpkins' Siamese Dream.
I think so.
Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you guys that.
I mean, it gives us a good idea of his personality.
Oh, something that goes to your point that actually I should have said is that he changed all of the computers at the radio station. Instead of Google, they use DuckDuckGo because they don't track you, and he's paranoid about that.
Didn't we argue about that on this podcast before?
Yeah, we did, because I do
Okay.
the same thing.
You use DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
You just
I
fucking
should do that, but
hide him from... You know what? All right, maybe I will too. Hide from the government. So that's how you learned about DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, it was that guy.
Oh, the CDs are going to oxidize in 30 years, man. You'd be obsolete, man.
He kind of sounded like that.
Did he talk like that?
Not really, but I wish he'd. Now that you do that, I'm like.
Did he drive a Volkswagen van?
I've never seen him drive a vehicle.
Did he smoke herb?
I didn't know this guy very well. I had minimal interaction with him.
I don't know why him talking about CDs oxidizing leads me to believe he was a hippie.
I mean, it was Davis.
All right, so he was a hippie.
Yeah.
It's the area.
Fact.
Yeah. He worked for a form radio station.
Freeform? Or
Freeform.
free form radio station?
Freeform.
Freeform radio
Or
station.
free. I don't know. Now you're having me doubt myself.
Good.
They don't have funding, so whatever.
Gotcha.
They gotta do the PBS style fundraisers.
Nice.
Anyway,
Admirable.
KDBS, shout out.
Guys, you want to jump into what we're talking about today?
Sure.
I think we're overdue.
You want to cut the bullshit?
Yeah,
Jump into the topic at hand? Do you guys know what we're here to talk about today?
I do, but I want you to say it.
You want me to say it, Ryan?
Say it.
Just say it.
Just fucking say it.
We're talking about the latest album from Deathspell Omega, The Furnaces of I knew I was going to fuck this up. Palingenesia.
No matter how you pronounce it, it's going to be wrong.
No shit, though.
It's actually the Furnaces of Palingenesia.
Palingenesia. Maybe it is Palingenesia.
Yeah.
And these guys are you guys mentioned they were a black metal band?
Yeah, from France mostly, I believe. Pretty mysterious
Oh, they're
group.
French.
Yes.
Interesting.
I don't think
Okay.
every member is French, but there are I don't think every member has disclosed their identity.
No, they have not, as far as I know.
They're one of those secret. Don't the residents do that kind of thing? They just
Yeah.
they keep all their identities hidden.
Yeah, residents. Oh, good job, Ian.
Yeah.
Wow. San
Thank you.
Francisco
Pretty sure I learned that from you.
freaks. Yeah, the residents. They
Some more San Francisco freaks.
yeah, they just wear giant eyeball heads and anyway.
That's awesome. I'd like to do something like that. This album came out on May 24th of this year, 2019. Scott, do you know what label these guys are on?
No, I don't. You want me to find that?
I would love for you to find it.
It's on No Evdia Records. Noevdia.
Interesting. Do you know anything about them? You never heard of them?
No, this is the first time I've heard of that.
Nice.
They could just be like their self-release
Yeah,
thing. I don't know.
possibly. Let me
Speculation.
let me run down the track listing real quick. At the time that most makes sense before we really get into it. Neither meaning nor justice, the fires of frustration, ad arma, exclamation points after each arma, splinters from your mother's spine, imitatio Dei, 1523, sacrificial theopathy, standing on the work of slaves, renegade ashes, absolutist regeneration, and you cannot even find the ruins. So tell me about your guys' exposure to this band. How do you guys know of this band? Scott, let's start with you.
I got into this band in 2010 with Paracletus. Paracletus. I don't know how you pronounce that. I assume it's Latin.
I really like the name of that album, Paracletus.
Yeah.
I think because I really like the name Cletus. So it makes me happy.
Oh, Ian.
That's like a Paracletus.
I think that's why they named that.
that's
named
that's
that.
plural for Cletus. Paracletus. Dual Cletus. Go.
No, you keep going.
Dual Cletus. Paracletus. Clitoris.
Oh, God. Okay.
Two of them.
Abort. Yeah.
Clitus.
I don't remember how I found that album. I'm not like a black metal freak. I do like black metal and metal in general, more like experimental, just like slow, and I like the slow and low type of stuff usually.
You like the weird, sludgy. I think I've said that on here before. When I think of you, I think of sludge.
But I also do like the fast, like black metal-y type stuff, or sometimes I'll dabble in grindcore or even like mathcore or whatever. But it is a little out of my element, but somehow Paracletus found me and it became one of my favorite metal albums. I mean, it's just such a good album. And I was kind of drawn to how mysterious this band is. I didn't know anything about them at all other than they were French, and that's it. But from there, I kind of went back in their discography and checked out a couple of other albums, but I don't have much of an understanding about their process or anything other than that, and I think that's kind of by design. I don't think that they really put much out there. I just read an interview, or I tried to skim through an interview. It was their first interview in 15 years.
Damn.
So they're pretty mysterious dudes. I just know that one album is awesome, and I noticed that they came out with this album, I think, pretty suddenly. I don't know if anybody was expecting it, but
that's what it kind of seemed like.
Yeah. So I was pretty excited to jump in.
Right on.
Just that's. Yeah, I don't know. What about you, Ryan? Do you have any?
I mean, you probably know them a little bit more than me. Because I mean, I got into them during Drought, their EP.
Oh yeah.
I really liked that cover and have
how
kind of like horrific it is. But then from there, I kind of like went back into, was it the Synarchy of Molten Bones? And
these guys are intense as fuck.
Yeah, that name, all the names in this band are.
Yeah.
Like,
I haven't heard the Synarchy of Molten Bones. I've been kind of, I just like really latched onto Paracletus, and then I didn't get anything. Like I went back to FAS, F-A-S, Ite Maledicti, in whatever, and then
I'll keep it going. In Ignem Aeternum,
and
I think is the rest of it.
I dabbled in C Monumentum Require, whatever.
No, that's wrong.
Then you say all this.
Yeah, I'm not going to try because they got a Q next to a V. I don't know how to pronounce that. That is fucked off.
Yeah, I didn't really go after Paracletus. I stopped, so I didn't even hear Drought. I heard Drought was really good though, and I heard mixed things about the Synarchy of Molten Bones.
See, that's the thing, is like it gets kind of like more murky reviews compared to the others.
Yeah.
I just liked it because it was something new to me. Like, because that was Drought and then that were kind of my first dive into them.
Yeah.
And
have you heard Paracletus?
I looked into it a little bit, and I have a backlog of lots of albums I need to get to.
Right.
And that ended up on that backlog for so long, I kind of ended up forgetting about it.
Right. Yeah, it's really good.
No. I 100% wanted to like dive into it and into the rest of their stuff because
it's a really the band seems like they're very mysterious, but they're very like intense with their process. Mm-hmm. Seems like a band that's got a lot of like artistic vision, and I don't know if their concepts, like the albums are conceptually contained, but it seems like it is. It feels like there's like,
I wouldn't be surprised
because there are movements and stuff like that. I've never really taken a deep dive into the lyrics with any of their albums, but
I've heard that the albums, I don't know how to pronounce it, C Monumentum Requires Circumspice, whatever.
Circumspice
and everything nice.
That one, and then FAS, and then Paracletus are a trilogy.
Oh, they're a trilogy.
At least that's what I've heard.
Okay, that sounds familiar, actually. Now that you're saying that, I do maybe remember that.
And then I don't know about the Synarchy of Molten Bones, like how that fits in with any of that lyrically or thematically.
I haven't heard anything from that album. So I'm kind of just jumping back in. So 2010 was kind of the last encounter with this band.
Looks like they've been around since the late 90s.
Yeah, they've been around for a while.
Yeah. Were they I think that they were a little bit more traditionally black metal at first, and now they're just kind of they're on a different
I'd almost
plane
call
of
them
existence.
like experimental black metal in a weird way.
Yeah. It's definitely I don't know. They're pushing the genre in some direction. I still think it's black metal.
I would definitely label it as black metal. Primarily.
And if at the very least inspired by black metal. We were talking a little off air about the just ambiguity of black metal genre boundaries, But
Right.
that's not really for me to decide. I think that this is whatever. Black metal. We'll just say it's black metal.
It's black metal.
For the purposes of this podcast, Ian and I wouldn't know any better anyway.
It's
so.
black metal. Yeah. I'd like to advise the listeners as well. Ryan is our resident metal man. Scott, we need we need a name. We need a name for him.
Our resident metal man.
Scott. Okay, that's not the dean of the metal.
The dean of the metal.
That's a throwback to Dean of the Bean.
The Dean of the Bean.
All right, my voice is cracking. Balls are dropping once more, boys. No, Ryan, you're my metal guy. You're the guy I go to with discussions on the intense level of genres and subgenres and subgenres and genre crossovers, all contained in metal.
Yeah, they're kind of all over the place.
You're my advisor on that, so
a lot of branches.
I'd like to discuss that further with you at some point.
Yeah,
and just
I'm open.
We gotta have you back on for a genre,
a nice genre breakdown.
The metal. What about the Metal Monsieur?
Metal Monsieur. Yes. Woo! You did it, Scott.
We got there.
Yeah, I would like more information on the difference between all the cores.
Yeah.
And all the posts. Maybe some pre's if there's any pre's.
All of them. We could do all of them. Yeah.
All the colors.
All the colors.
Green metal, black metal, purple metal, Latin metal.
Is that a color?
It is now.
It is.
Moving on. I'm pretty sure I interrupted both of you.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all right then. I've read that a lot of their lyrical content deals with Satanism on a metaphysical level.
Well, they are black metal, so
yeah. With I when I listen to this band, when I listen to a lot of metal, and I hate to just like generalize a whole, like metal is so broad, but just typically when I'm like listening to extreme music, I don't listen to the lyrics really. That's just how I digest it. I'm just more into like the raw emotion and like just the feeling of it.
I mean, that's kind of usually how I digest metal. Yeah. At least the more extreme metal.
Yeah, and you think about not most metal. I don't like I'm generalizing again, but like a lot of metal is unintelligible. Like the logos are hard to read. The vocals are hard to hear.
The logos drive me fucking insane.
It can annoy me a little bit.
Yeah. So I don't think that that's always the point. With this band, you could dive into the lyrics if you really wanted to. I mean, the vocals are pretty upfront. I don't think that they're really hiding them at all. But I'm more interested in just the overall emotional weight of everything and just the combination of instrumental stuff. So, yeah, I believe you, Ian. Long story short.
Good.
I can't say
I'm
yes
happy
or no.
to fucking hear it. Thank God.
Yeah.
I guess they have stated themselves that all other interpretations of Satan are intellectually invalid. That's a very intense statement to make in general, I feel like.
Okay. So I've been doing a little more research about this band recently, as of yesterday. And I tried to read through their interview, their most recent interview, and it was difficult. I mean, whoever they interviewed, I don't know what member of the band or which members of the band they're interviewing, but they were so up their own ass.
Yeah, I get a lot of pretentiousness.
Yeah.
I mean, I like what they're doing, but I do get a lot of the pretentiousness.
Yeah.
Just a lot of philosophical references and like, we're at the end times. That's why it's like, why are you letting us interview? It's just like, because we're at 23:58 on the doomsday clock. It's just like, come on, man.
Because they even mentioned an interview talking about this album and how there was a rift between some of the band members, but the way he described the rift was almost like making it bigger than what it seemed like it would be.
Yeah, I was reading this interview because I wanted some closure on certain things. We'll get into it later. I want to get through my thoughts about the album before I get into some like interesting.
Yeah, we'll circle back.
Yes, about one member in specific.
Did you guys mention that they had released a trilogy of concept albums? One of you guys mentioned that.
I think
earlier.
you mentioned that.
Did I?
No, you
mention
mentioned that.
Yeah.
Ryan
mentioned that.
Yeah.
I'm reading here. They've released a trilogy of concept albums which focus on the theological aspects of God, Satan, and man's relationship with the two.
Yeah, that was
With
3.
Oh,
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, that's intense. What's a fucking synonym for intense? So I quit saying that word. Intensity.
It's just a different way to say that.
Epic,
All right, well,
I don't know.
That's it. Intense it is. No
Yeah,
synonyms.
epic. Say epic.
Epic. That's epic, dude.
That's so epic.
God, Satan, and our relationship to the both of them. Epic.
Bruh.
Bruh, both of them? Damn. Talk about God and Satan, both of them? My relationship? Fuck.
Yeah. Should we talk about the album?
Yes, we should
I don't
talk
know how
about
to move on from that.
Steer the waters. Ian.
Yes.
Come on.
Scott, yes, we should talk about the album. Guys, give me some of your initial thoughts. How did you feel about this on some of your early listens and on through your final listens? Give me some initial impressions.
Why don't you start this time, Ryan?
I started listening to it the first song I heard was actually like when the single came out, At Arma.
Okay.
Because I know they released that first before the full album.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. It was definitely a little bit more, I guess, straightforward than their music usually is.
Yeah.
But overall, once I actually got through the album, it seems like it's dense. It seems like there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of dissonance.
Oh, yeah.
Dissonance is heavy on this album.
Yeah.
And it overall, I mean, I enjoyed it in the beginning. It took a little bit for it to sink in.
It's a pretty busy sounding band. Like, there's
Yeah.
a lot of just like weird time signature guitar noodly stuff. It's hard to grab onto that.
I think this song actually was one of my standouts, one of my picks at Arma. I thought it was kind of cool.
Because like this album, even this style is not something I would have to be in the mood to listen to it.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
love death metal and all that kind of stuff, but this, because of how almost like you really have to focus on what is happening in the song to, in my opinion, like fully enjoy it.
Yeah, I think you do. Maybe, at least for me, I have to be in a specific mood. I could feel you on that one. Mm-hmm. It's not like something you could just put on.
Yeah.
Unless you're just feeling, it's like the end times. For
Yeah,
real.
it's very dark and brooding.
Dark and brooding.
It's a good soundtrack for just like the apocalypse.
Yeah, perfectly. But I enjoyed it. I liked it, and then once I let it sink in a little bit more, I liked it more and more.
Grew on you?
Yeah.
It was a grower?
Yes, definitely a grower.
Do you
Was
think
it
that the whole album is a grower?
That's the thing is, like, I started to lose interest. I mean, not completely lose interest, but by track, I would say 9 or 10 is when I was kind of like, where is it going? And this is before I got into the lyrics.
Yeah.
And then it goes into the final track where it's a little bit more slow, less completely dissonant. And once I went back and went through the lyrics, I feel like it's telling a story. And this album, from what I've looked up, it's the only album they have that's not about Satan or God or any of that.
Oh.
It's more dictatorships. So the album is from the point of view of a dictator talking to his people.
Oh, okay.
And if you follow that and go track by track, once you get to the final track, it is almost like the end of a story.
Okay.
And that made me, I love albums that do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that made that final kind of period at the end of the album made me love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
That's pretty sweet. I didn't know that, but I could see that. It's just like, it feels like a concept album. I didn't know what the concept was. And I could kind of guess based on song titles, like Ad Arma is like, was that like a military?
It's
type
a
of
call
thing?
to arms.
Call to arms. Yeah. You can kind of infer certain things, but I see what you mean by fatigue. Like, there is a lot of just one level of intensity and a lot of not having a consistent melody or anything, like, or just like a consistent riff.
Exactly.
Like, it's just a lot of just chaos. Just chaos once you have chaos for that long, it's hard to
keep the interest going.
exactly.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of what they do. Something I liked about Paracletus was there was some kind of
Cletus.
a pair of clitties was you could please bleep that one.
That was a creative word. I like that.
Yeah. New slang.
Double clitties.
There was a little bit of, there's breaks. I think a little bit more breaks. Maybe I'm biased because that's something I spent a lot more time with, but it felt like the guitar riffs or whatever were a little more catchy, and then the songs kind of had more that to kind of like grab your attention. It feels like they're doing, I guess I'm just going into my thoughts now. They're doing what they're good at, which is just pure chaos in that style. It does feel a little bit like more of the same, which in my opinion isn't a bad thing, because the same for them is something I enjoy. It is something that you have to be in the mood for, though. I think if I had to go back to a Deathspell album, it would be Paracletus, because I just have more of an attachment to that album, and this album hasn't grabbed me like that one yet. But I did enjoy it, and I get what you mean. There was some fatigue. It was hard to listen to this album from front to back in one sitting, for sure. There are points in the album where they do kind of slow it down and break it up a little bit, but it's more of just like moments where it gets broken up. It's not like full songs usually.
Yeah.
It's more just like, oh, there's horns here, which is cool. I really like the horns on this album, and like the instrumentation stuff where it just got super epic out of nowhere. But overall, I had a pretty positive impression of this album. I was happy with it. So
good. My thoughts line up pretty closely with your guys's, except I didn't enjoy it quite as much as I wanted to, I guess. I think a lot of my bias came more from the production aspect behind it. It was very... It's like there was a layer of like a light distortion or just like an overdrive over the entire mix. It like covered over...
Almost like a muddiness.
Yeah, kind of covered over the drums and the vocals, and the bass had some distortion going through it as well. And it was a little much. I was having a hard time kind of picking things out, you know?
And I think that was a part of what you're talking about with the fatigue, because it almost seems like if you wanted to know what a specific instrument was doing, you literally had to focus as hard as you could to get it out of the mix.
What I grab, though, is that guitar tone. The high-end guitar stuff is really cool on this album, throughout the whole album.
That's my fiance was even saying when I was playing it in the car that those lines kind of seemed like kind of unsettling.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It's just a terror to them. I can't really describe it, but it's just a very just very stressful, anxiety-driven guitar lines. Just really chaotic and all over the place. But that's something that I always enjoy when I hear a Deathspell album, is the guitar, and then the vocals.
I knew you would like the vocals. I made a note that was, vocals are definitely something Scott would like.
Yeah.
Because they're very kind of like...
I'd say that almost like they're like gurgly black metal-ish.
Yeah.
At least that's what I hear.
Yeah,
Scott likes that gurgle.
But they're also kind of like free form. Like he's like muttering incoherently. He's just like...
And that completely adds to the atmosphere.
Yeah, just like... He's doing something completely different than the rest of the band. I mean, no one seems to be playing the same song, but it kind of like locks together into this thing, which I really like. That's something I really like. It feels complicated. I don't know if it's actually complicated, but like when you're as a listener, it feels like they're doing something structurally interesting. And he's just like reading through these lyrics really like demonically. I don't know.
I can definitely hear that.
Yeah.
Satanically.
Perhaps. But yeah, is that you have overall?
I mean, that was kind of the main. It was cool. It's not a type of metal that I typically listen to. I don't typically go how can I put this fucking hard.
Yeah.
Most of my gripe lies with the production, and I know it's intentional. It doesn't sound like it's just done shitty. I think it's not done in a way that I like. It's just, I can tell there are cool things happening, but there's just not a lot of intelligibility, like nothing super clear.
I think if we're talking like black metal terms, though, I think this is like
on par.
It's pretty clean.
This is okay. Like the freaking Porsche of production. Because you hear about black metal bands that get There was, I forgot which band. I think it was like Ulver or I don't remember, but they got major label money or something. I could be botching the story, but I'll give you the gist of it. And they used that money to buy a bunch of expensive like cars and drugs and stuff, and then they recorded their album in a 4-track in the woods.
Oh Jesus! Damn.
So they just blew all their money, and then just because those albums are just so poorly recorded by design. I think that's like what they.
I think there was one old school black metal band that recorded in a coffin. Like literally,
in a coffin,
had the microphone in a coffin while they were trying to record, like in the room.
Oh my god!
Shit.
Just one microphone, of course. The guy's just screaming next to the coffin.
Oh, they did that on Sun album, I think.
Okay.
I think
microphone in a coffin.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I think that for Black One there was a vocal.
Oh, I can see them doing that.
Yeah, I think there's a vocal.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say like black metal is not in my wheelhouse. So if this is like the clean Porsche of black metal, then okay, cool. Then maybe I don't like black metal, but I don't have enough exposure to it.
Yeah, I don't think you would like it.
I mean, I'm optimistic to it. I want to.
It's an acquired taste.
I want to check it out.
Also, you have to kind of get a tolerance for just like enjoying art of really bad people.
Yeah.
Enjoying art of really bad people. Huh?
Just like bad people in general.
Yeah. Racists. Violent murderers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Church burners.
Oh, church burners. Okay.
Yeah, that's where
that's
where that stereotype started. Is the Scandinavian black metal stuff.
Oh, really?
They wanted to be extra badass.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They just like murdered each other and stuff, burned churches. Anyway,
murdered each other and then came back at 9 that night to play a show.
I guess there was this one. I think it was Mayhem. Listeners probably know all this stuff already, but there was this guy, a member of the band. I think his name was Death or Dead. His name was Dead, and he got murdered by his bandmate. There was some kind of a scuffle or something, and he got stabbed in the face or something like that.
No.
No, he committed suicide.
Yeah, he committed suicide.
He committed suicide with a shotgun. That's right.
Jesus.
And they took a picture. One of the band members took a picture, and they made it an album cover.
Yeah, because he found him in his apartment, and his first reaction, instead of calling the police or anything, was let's take a picture. And he also took some pieces of his bone to make a necklace out of.
Oh, I didn't know about that part.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
What I was thinking of was Varg from Burzum stabbing. He stabbed someone, and he's also like pretty famously a white nationalist, racist.
Yeah, he's a pretty disgusting person.
Okay.
But he's one at the forefront of this whole movement. Like people idolize him as far as his musical output. Anyway, so that's kind of a taste.
All right. Okay, yeah, maybe black metal's not for me. But I'm optimistic about it, I guess. Maybe the music's good.
From an outsider perspective, it's almost funny how like ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
So over.
It's not funny.
Over the top.
No.
It's not funny, but it is just like, why are you guys so screwed up?
And the thing is, I mean, that was also more of like the old school stuff. The newer black metal bands don't really do that as much. I would assume, hope.
Yeah.
But they do look at those guys as influences.
Yeah. And I'm just going to talk about it now, I guess.
This episode got really dark, you guys.
There is an aspect of that with this band that I just found out about yesterday.
Uh-oh.
Really?
Yeah, so the vocalist, Mikko Aspa, is apparently a neo-Nazi, racist, potentially pedophilic dude.
Really?
Oh, God.
Which, unfortunate. A bit of a bummer.
But
man.
Wait, so that is who he is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mikko Aspa is the vocalist. And I tried to do some research because when people say, oh, this guy's a Nazi, that's a pretty serious accusation.
Yeah.
And I don't want to just be like, oh yeah, screw this guy. But I kind of started reading some quotes from him, and there's probably some truth to it.
Because that's the thing is, like, some of the interviews that they were talking about with this new album is actually criticizing the far right and criticizing the far left.
So that's another thing.
That's one thing.
That's another thing. So there's a big debate with this album now. There's a prominent YouTube reviewer that just like withdrew his review because of this. I mean, he's had these ties for a while. It's the movement's called the National Socialist Black Metal NSBM. It's just neo-Nazi religion, race hatred stuff. But what people say that defend this band is that Mikko Aspa doesn't write any lyrics, and he's pretty much just session musician. He comes in, does his part, and goes, and they never perform.
Why does this band have to be so mysterious?
Yeah.
They never perform?
They never perform. They're not all out in the open.
Like, it's basically a project.
Yeah, like not all the members have revealed themselves to the public.
Have they ever performed, or is this like
Not to my
Like,
knowledge.
this is literally just a project that they're doing as
they
like
just
an art project.
never performed since in 20 years?
No one knows.
Because I don't think that was the intention anyway.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, all right.
But I want to read you this. I took a screenshot.
Maybe that's why they're called avant-garde metal as well.
This is the Deathspell Omega interview in 2000. So Mikko joined in 2002. He said, "Very proud of the brilliant actions of intolerance in Nazi Germany and Europe in World War II to gaz the Jews was fantastic. We in Deathspell Omega are definitely fascist-thinking people."
God. Jesus.
And he's used the N-word. I think he said, like, "I don't much care for the street N-words" in an interview.
In an interview.
In an interview.
Okay.
So take that as you will. I'm going to just, you know what? Like, I like this band. I'm of Jewish descent.
I had no idea of that.
I'm a Jewish band.
I need this stuff.
It's hard for me to... I'm not going to support this band knowing that.
Right.
Yeah, that kind of changes my...
Yeah, but I'm not going to lie to myself. Like, I enjoy this album. And it's this interesting ethical thing where it's just like...
You and I were talking about this a little bit the other day.
Yeah, I found out this information yesterday and was just like, man, should I just like call off this whole thing? Like, is that bad for me to like kind of support, as a Jew, to kind of support a Nazi in a way? But it's not his art. It's the other, and there's nothing about this band that is endorsing racism as far as I know. And he's not doing any of that. So whatever. I mean, just draw your own conclusions, but just like have that in mind, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes this album, the meaning lyrically of this album, so more interesting to me, because it seems like the album is criticizing dictatorships.
Yeah, so from everything I've read, it's like there are very different views in this band. Like,
there's like a quote that they said, what is it? A minority of the collective's contributors, shall we say parts of the second circle, who've been invited to partake because of their incredible talents as musicians, are involved with earthly politics, but stand on completely opposite ends of the political spectrum, and are therefore irreconcilable political foes.
Yeah.
And they're talking about their own band members.
So knowing all of this,
what the fuck,
knowing
man?
all of this, it makes sense. So it's just like they're working with this guy because of his talent, and I love his vocal style. I'm not going to lie and say that I don't love his vocal style, and it's perfect for this band.
It's unique.
So it's just like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's just, do you need to work with him? But also like, it's really good. And
I don't know.
I get it. But also they're not preaching his ideals. So it's just this weird thing where I'm never going to pay money for any release from them ever again. But will I listen to their music still? Probably. I enjoy it.
I'll admit I downloaded the album. I didn't pay for it.
Hell yeah.
Good.
Stick it to the band. And you know what? Bands like these, I just want to know, what is their day job? What do they do to make money for a living?
I think, they probably get, I mean, he's in a bunch of projects, so he's probably pretty well off within the circles.
Figure out those other projects so we know not to shed any light on them.
Yeah.
But the band themselves, like, are they just like fascist accountants? Are they? I mean, do a couple of them work at like Rite Aid or something?
I would assume that some of them have day jobs.
I think that they're I think they're pretty liberal members of the band.
Yeah, that's what I can see. Yeah, like, that's what makes this so weird.
It's just odd. Yeah. I think it's just maybe that's the dynamic that makes the music like this, because there is like probably opposing views, and they probably don't hang out with each other. It's just probably just
that might be another reason why they don't play live.
Yeah, and maybe that's why that guy is one of the members still isn't revealing himself. He doesn't want to be associated, but they're just in it for the artistic expression of it all. Yeah, maybe. All right. Which that's true,
respectable, I guess.
If that's true, I can respect that, because I do think that the instrumentation and the vocal delivery and all that stuff is commendable and like really good, and it gels really well. It seems like they work really well together musically. Mm-hmm. It's just this weird thing where it's like I have to figure out my boundaries with them now.
Yeah,
because I was the one that suggested this review.
You and I were talking about how can I phrase it? The other day, you and I were briefly mentioning the ethics of liking someone's music or art.
Yeah.
Even though you found out that they've done horrendous things.
Yeah.
Been put into a bad light. And, we don't need to name any individuals, but there are several pop artists Michael Jackson is one of them, but there's been some pop artists that came to light. Okay. Right. Is that real?
Yeah. He's like a pedophile, sort of, maybe, like taking advantage of young female artists.
Jesus. Okay,
see, that
fine.
happens in one of the bands I listened to where the vocalist did that. Now I don't really know how I feel about their music.
Yeah, and
it does damper it a little bit. Like it kind of sucks, because it's like I consider Pericleus one of my favorite metal albums ever, and I just found about this yesterday. I'm still processing it a little bit. You know?
And I just found out of I guess we'll just say the R. Kelly thing like earlier this week, and it's like, still learning details. Like, it's bad.
Yeah, that guy's a monster.
That's bad. And it's like, I remember I had mentioned it to you, and you were like, dang it, I like his music. What the fuck?
Yeah. I used to like R. Kelly. I mean, R. Kelly is bad, and the music is bad, but I liked it ironically.
But it's entertaining, yeah. Like Trapped in the Closet turned into that's like a 2-hour video, isn't it? And it just gets so out of control.
It's fun, but also like it's hard to enjoy knowing. Yeah. I mean, we knew stuff about him before, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, people have been saying like, oh, I don't know if we want to go into details, but R. Kelly did this really bad thing and blah blah blah, and just like kind of just got pushed under the rug, and it's like, okay, well, whatever happened with that? And now it's like, oh, there's a lot of evidence now, I guess. I honestly haven't looked into it, mostly just from people reading articles next to me telling me about what's going on.
Have you seen the documentary
on R. Kelly?
Yeah. It recently came out. I've been meaning to watch it. But
I didn't even know there was a documentary.
I want to see that.
No, supposedly, it talks to a lot of the people that were involved with keeping it hidden.
Really?
Like that. They also talked to John Legend. He apparently hates him. Like, he's not involved with it. He's
okay.
I think John Legend was one of the first popular artists I heard to like outwardly say,
yeah, that's what I
support. Yeah, R. Kelly.
Oh yeah, and that's a big thing for one artist to say about another. Like, hey, do not support this person.
Yeah,
not like I don't like his music. Do whatever the fuck you guys want, but to say do not support this guy. He's bad.
Yeah,
bad. And so it's interesting that's I guess becoming more of a discussion. You mentioned right these days is like that there's a weird line.
The tolerance is a lot lower.
Yeah.
And it does feel like as soon as someone knows anything about somebody, all of their art is like invalidated, which is interesting. And I get that, but I don't know. It's something that I'm still trying to figure out how I feel about. Like, up until recently, people like heralded Michael Jackson as the greatest pop artist of all time. And now they're afraid to admit that they like him. So it's like, how do you go from that dramatic of a change? I don't know. It's very ethical. It's an ethical thing, and whatever. We're still kind of adapting to this new mindset. I think is like a society, and we're probably gonna have a more established way to deal with it in the future.
Yeah,
but
it's just, it is. It's just very it's interesting. It's strange times we live in.
Yeah.
Every generation has said that exact phrase, strange times we live in. And I'm saying it here and now.
I should have waited until after you guys gave your reviews to tell you all this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to give reviews now.
Yeah.
I'm fine to still talk about it.
No, I'm not going to hold back on my review. My review is positive.
I'm going to opt out for the rest of the episode. Okay, bye, guys. No, do you guys want to slip into some of your picks? Do you guys have any picks from this album?
I do have picks. Do you have picks?
Yeah, I have a few. Yeah.
Do you guys mind if I go first? Only because I think my pick list is shorter than yours.
Sure.
So Ad Arma was one of my standouts, and I thought that standing on the work of slaves was pretty cool.
That was on the verge of being a pick for me, standing on the edge, standing on the work of slaves.
The song's okay, but I think I was just able to cling onto it more than others.
It just starts with that like slow bass line. It feels like a different thing.
I love the opening.
Yeah.
The opening, like.
Mm-hmm. Just the kind of drony. I don't know. I know what you mean.
I listened to Converge, and it kind of reminded me of like a Converge intro.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, yeah. Especially like the tone and everything.
Yeah, of the bass. But ultimately, it didn't do enough for me to warrant a pick.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought this one was cool. I think this one might have been my number one, and it was at more of a pace that I could like bob my head to.
Yeah,
it wasn't like speed metal, and and there was stuff in here that I could grab onto, latch onto, and dig, man.
Right,
dug it
for sure. No, it's a good pick. I almost had this. I actually put that with 2 question marks on either side because I wasn't sure if I was going to make it my pick or not. But
yeah, right on.
Not quite.
All right, what do you guys got?
That was your only pick? Oh, Ad Arma.
That one and Ad Arma, yeah. I just had those two, I think. This album was hard for me to pick any choices, really.
There's not much that like stands out extremely from the pack.
We mentioned listening fatigue earlier. I definitely had that myself in this, and it was it's outside my wheelhouse, and it was just hard for me to latch onto the way I wanted. And I don't think I've had enough exposure to this type of satanic, pedophilic.
Oh my God!
Black.
You're not talking about it in the song.
Yeah.
Considering that the singer founded the band and sings directly about pedophilic instances and Satanism and hedonism and all the isms, Judaism.
Judaism. To clarify, the pedophilia thing is something I didn't have enough time to like find that. I know he was in a band called Nicole 12 that had like a picture of a naked girl on the cover. I don't know if he endorses that or not.
Why would you do that?
Exactly.
Why does that exist?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's pretty messy, and he's definitely into some weird sexual stuff.
God.
Anyway.
I can understand the other band members not wanting to
be
associated with him.
Yeah, I think I get that now.
Yeah, and
but
maybe
his
that's
vocals,
why they don't interview that much.
I mean, I know he's into this stuff, but his vocals are just so good.
Yeah. Sure, he maims children.
Oh, God. Maims?
Yeah. Do you want to do yours first, Ryan?
I mean, I would say like as my top tracks would be like Ad Arma. I mean, just because of how it's the most almost catchy.
Ad Arma, yeah.
Like that main riff with the kind of arpeggios, the kind of unsettling arpeggios.
That was not a pick for me. I liked it a lot though. It's good.
Other than that, I also had 1523. I really liked.
You know what? I think I liked this one as well.
1523 was a pick
because
they slowed it down.
Slow melodic. Like, I
you
mean,
like
not
the melodic
like catchy
stuff.
melodic, but
yeah,
you're a melodic dude, huh?
I like it when it's melodic mixed in with all the chaos, because it's almost like, I don't know, it gives it some more color.
Right. Okay.
Third pick would probably be Renegade Ash.
Renegade Ashes.
Renegade Ashes.
You're picking all my picks. Yeah. Sorry. No, that's fine. This was my top pick.
And and also I'm picking these picks not just on the music but the lyrics too.
Yeah.
I honestly really like the story in this album because it goes through the dictatorship or the dictator explaining to the people, we will save you from freedom and all this kind of stuff. Which again, I don't agree with any of that, but it's more of gaining the trust of the populace. And then as you go further into the album, especially with Renegade Ash, where it's about we will basically. Those who disobey will hang from the gallows, and
okay.
And it goes all the way until the end. But
I just like the cool stuff at the end. That's why I like this song.
The cool stuff at the end. Let's see. Is this the cool stuff at the end?
Yeah.
Is this Renegade Ash?
Yeah.
They do some
this is kind of cool.
Instruments and stuff, and it gets real epic.
Bro, epic. Intense.
It's an epic gamer moment.
Yeah, this was cool. I didn't like the song that much, but I agree with you. The ending of this was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I love that. I love how this song builds.
A lot of the instrumentation on here, like I said, it's just a little too saturated for me. I don't like I like when you can have, I don't mind a heavily distorted guitar, but I like being able to decipher what's happening with it. Like someone's playing a crazy guitar line and you just, it's too cluttered and saturated and you can't really tell what's going on with it. I have a hard time with that. And this album kind of has a good amount of that.
Seems like they did that on purpose.
Not
with
the
this
worst.
album.
Yeah. And that's part of the style.
Yeah.
And, so I have a hard time grappling onto that myself, so that's kind of more of personal preference, I guess.
Sweet. It was the only two?
So yeah, it was Ad Arma, 1523, and
those three.
Ashes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scott, did you have any others?
I have one more. You Cannot Find the Ruins was my final pick.
The last song.
I like his vocals in this song a lot. It's completely different. It kind of reminded me of Neurosis, a band I really like. Like, I can't describe it, but yeah, just that same kind of. It feels very apocalyptic, and I'm using that word too much for this album, but just like end timesy, like prophesizing stuff, where he's just like the mutterings of a madman kind of thing. I don't know. I like when they slow it down. I think that's my favorite.
Mutterings of a Madman's a good band name.
I just with this band in particular, like they do everything so fast. So when they get to moments like this, I feel like it hits harder for me.
Yeah.
So I like it. Was a good closer.
Yeah, and I like when stuff is kind of slower like this and has that epic feel.
Yeah.
But it I don't know, man. Yeah.
I just felt like compared to everything else that came before
Gravelly
it was a good kind of slow down.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's not a very traditional metal vocal delivery.
It's like caught somewhere in between a couple different deliveries, I feel like.
Just
I don't
a
know.
weathered old man voice.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah. Which I really like. It does just remind me of Neurosis, which is a band I love. Yeah, that's my final pick. My other picks were set already. Renegade Ashes, 1523 were my other two.
Right on. There was a song on here. Let me see if I can find it. There was one that I swore, Ryan, you were going to have as one of your picks because for some reason the guitar line sounded like something you would like, and I don't know how to explain that. This one here, The Fires of Frustration.
I love
this guitar line.
This is
This right here. Oh, wait a minute. Do.
Yeah.
That little thing, I was like, Ryan's gonna dig that. I think. I don't know why.
I do like that
line.
It is a very, very different line.
Anyway, that was it.
Earbuddies.
All right, you guys want to wrap this up? You guys want to get into your final thoughts, ratings, if we are going to even rate this quite literally godforsaken album?
Yeah, we'll do a rating.
All right, what are we gonna rate this out of?
Let's do something pro-Jew. Let's do
pro-Jew. I'm very pro-Jew.
Let's do out of Stars of David.
Out of Stars of David. All right.
I like it.
That's about as pro-Jew as it gets.
Yeah.
Scott, why don't you go first?
So here's the thing. I like this album. Speaking purely like objectively, I had a formulated opinion before I heard about all this. I didn't know about Miko Aspa and all the anti-race religion stuff until yesterday. So I had already had some time with this album and formulated an opinion about it. I'm not going to change my opinion based on that. I'm not going to lie, though, and say that it doesn't like make me kind of not want to support this project as much in the future.
Right.
I'll go with my original rating, which I think this is a great album. I think it's, well, maybe not great. It's a good album from them. Maybe not on par with their best work, but I did enjoy it. I think that there's enough going on, enough now that I know the lyrical themes. It seems really well thought out and executed, and there's a lot of stuff in there to keep my attention despite it's just pure chaos throughout the whole thing. I'm gonna go 7.5 Stars of David.
7.5 Stars of David.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, you want to go next? You don't have to rate the album if you don't want to. Now, it's our asterisk for the.
And I mean, my ratings are different for albums. It's depending on how I feel about it, how much I want to keep listening to it, how much I appreciate it artistically.
Yeah, we try it, and it can be kind of difficult to incorporate that in like one rating. We try to incorporate like enjoyment level versus production quality versus artistic quality. And, creative. It's got the creative aspect behind it, I guess.
Just whatever. I mean, whatever you think, whatever adds up to your enjoyment of the album.
I would probably give it maybe not a full 9, but like 8.8 stars of David.
It's actually pretty good. So you really enjoyed the album previously.
I liked it, and I just musically I would have probably given it more like 6.5. About no, that's being too low for me. Probably like a 7.
But for context, we've never given out 10s on here.
Okay. Once I went through the lyrics and actually like listened to the whole album, and if you follow the lyrics, some of the dynamics of like when the horns come in fit in with where the story is getting darker.
Yeah.
And it almost to me feels like reading a novel or watching a movie or something, and that adds to my enjoyment of it a little bit. I mean, that's one of the things I love about when albums do that, concept albums.
Yeah.
But that's that reflects the 8.9.
Gotcha.
Kind of,
okay.
Again, not something I would go to over and over again. I have to be in the mood to listen to it. But,
right. Yeah.
And to the album's credit, I think the fact that you see it like that it's like a thoughtful composition with the lyrics and music does kind of go toward people's opinion that there's more of a centralized composer. Like it's not the vocalist that's putting in his artistic input.
That's what I would assume.
So,
which it's like, if he's just coming in and laying down the vocals, I don't think he represents the band. I don't think we can let him represent Deathspell Omega.
I don't want to let him represent.
Yeah. I'm trying as hard as I can to not let him do that.
And you know what? If he's not writing the lyrics, if he's not doing anything except coming in, reading it, and then just figuring out how to fit it, someone's telling him, depending on the level of input he really has, which it sounds like it's very limited.
Yeah.
That might not sway your opinion of the band because, you can't let him represent it if he's not really part of it,
Yeah, if he's only a small part of the collective.
Yeah.
There's a big debate online right now. I've been when I found out about this, I started watching YouTube videos and just like going into the comments section just so I could see them argue about it. Because there's a lot of people that are mad about the people that are refusing to review and acknowledge this album. And then there's just like the counterwave to the counterwave of, it's a big mess.
Yeah.
It's a big mess, but I don't know. Go ahead, Ian.
My rating is going to be, and you know what? It's hard for me to give it a rating because it's not my wheelhouse. And now knowing details about the singer, which I'm trying to leave off to the side, I think, but it just, in the end, it just didn't do a whole lot for me. And I think that my rating is going to be it'll be 4.5 stars of David because I'm kind of just down the middle on it.
Yeah.
But going down the middle and then incorporating kind of like personal enjoyment factor and stuff, it wasn't that high. So it kind of brings it down a little bit. Similar to how you felt with, I think the Raconteurs, actually. Similar kind of concept. So
it just was it was kind of a chore to get through for you.
Yeah, a bit. Down the middle and then a little less. So,
but good for an album.
It was fine. Like if it's on somewhere, whatever, like it doesn't hurt to listen to. I didn't hate this album. It's just kind of middle of the road for me. So
did you appreciate the emotional aspect of it, just how intense it was the whole time?
I appreciate that they,
because for the Raconteurs I was just kind of bored, but yeah, it's I think it's, I don't know, just wanted to hear you say that.
I mean, it didn't excite me. There's a lot of times where I was kind of bored, where it had transitioned into a different song, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize that happened because it wasn't really holding my attention,
Yeah, and songs do kind of go into each other on this album. I think that is by design.
Yeah, which is cool. Which I do like that. But that's it. That's it for me. 4.5.
Sweet. So. Yeah, respectable. So we'll just say ratings aside, I'm going to recommend that no one supports them financially.
No.
And,
maybe I'll just take all the snippets out of this episode.
And I don't know. I feel like it's weird for me because I feel like in some way maybe he's just like a troll and I'm feeding this troll by like mentioning all of this. But it's nothing to joke about,
Yeah.
whatever. That's it's complicated.
I would say as an art collective, they're interesting.
Yeah, and I have nothing against anybody else in the band, mostly because I don't know anything about anybody else in the band.
Yeah.
So it's just like this is that one guy that is probably the most outspoken, unfortunately.
And the rest of the band's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're just kind of cryptically. I mean, it's just like trying to get through that. I was trying to get through that interview, just like, come on, just like denounce him or something. But it was such a chore to read that I couldn't get
just so
to that
overtly pretentious.
But I read comments from other people who read the interview because it was too difficult for me to read, that were saying that it was like he's a session musician type of thing. So
okay.
Even so, like, he's going to get royalties or whatever. So,
which is a bummer.
Yeah.
It's got his name on it somewhere, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe don't support. Maybe I will take all the clips out, so it'll just be me going like, yeah, this part right here.
But do they even have merch?
They might have.
I don't know.
I've never seen any.
Yeah.
I don't know how they make money. I mean, because albums don't sell well anymore. Just don't buy their album, everybody. Just like, just download it.
They're just, this is just their side gig. They're all fascist accountants, like I said, and they just go into the studio, pay to make an album because they're feeling creative, and then it's just out there. That's it. Yeah. They don't make any money off it. They just do it for fun.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't say that you're wrong because I have no idea.
Guys, you want to wrap this shit up?
Okay.
You want to get out of here? Any last thoughts? Scott, anything you want to add?
No. I mean, I've said a lot about it already.
Yeah?
Just, Miko, if you're listening,
go fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Why do you hate me?
Why do you hate?
Why do you hate my people? And let's talk. Anyway.
Ryan, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, no problem. I enjoyed myself.
Will you come back and be our Metal Monsieur?
Yeah,
sure.
Come back, please.
Yes, I will gladly.
We'll talk about some more lighthearted metal next time.
There could still be some fucked up metal, but not like this.
We'll do background checks next episode.
Yeah, maybe it won't be quite as depressing halfway through the episode.
Right in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah. I was trying to decide whether or not to do it at the very end or the very beginning. So I kind of split the difference because I didn't want it to like cloud the whole thing, but I couldn't ignore it. You know what I mean?
Just like a slow descent into just horrible, depressing topics.
Yeah.
All right. We want to remind everyone out there to check your Diddy Miss. Until next time, this has been Earbuddies.
See ya.
Woo!
This episode is not endorsed by Deathspell Omega.
This has been another installment of the Earbuddies podcast. Bye-bye now.